You have 10 boxes that contains balls with each of the ball weighing 10 grams precisely. Now among the boxes, one of the box comprises of defective balls with each defective ball weighing 9 grams. You have been provided with an electronic weighing machine, but you are allowed to use it only once. Can you find the box with the defective balls? The puzzle looks difficult, but by the time you understand the solution, you will find that it was way easy than you were thinking. For convenience sake, let's name the boxes from 1 to 10. In order to solve this problem, you have to leverage the fact that you know exactly what each good ball is supposed to weigh and what each defective ball is supposed to weigh. Many of us instinctively will take one ball out of each box and try to find a way to make it work, but the trick is to take different number of balls from each box. The number of balls you pick from each bag is equal to the box number. For example, pick one ball from box 1, two balls from box 2, three balls from box 3, and so on, and finally 10 balls from box 10. In total, you will have 55 balls. If all of the boxes have good balls, then the total weight of these balls would be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus till plus 10 times 10, which is equal to 550 grams. This is because each ball weighs 10 grams. 550 grams is not possible because we are already told in the puzzle description one of the box comprises of defective balls with each defective ball weighing 9 grams. So this is the catch to solve this puzzle. If box 1 has defective balls, then the total weight should be 1 gram less than expected. It is because only one ball weighing 9 grams. If box 2 has defective balls, then the total weight should be 2 grams less than expected. It is because 2 balls weighing 9 grams. Similarly, if box 3 has defective balls, then the total weight should be 3 grams less than expected. It is because 3 balls weighing 9 grams. So once you weigh the set of chosen balls, find out the difference between the total weight and the expected weight. That number represents the box number which contains the defective balls. By following these simple steps, we can solve this puzzle and defective box can be identified with single weigh. You are given 8 identical looking balls. One of them is heavier than the rest of the 7. All the others weigh exactly the same. You are provided with a simple mechanical balance and you are restricted to only 2 uses. Can you find the heavier ball? Let me repeat the puzzle. You are given 8 identical looking balls. One of them is heavier than the rest of the 7. All the others weigh exactly the same. You are provided with a simple mechanical balance and you are restricted to only 2 uses. Can you find the heavier ball by using only 2 uses of the mechanical balance? Let me explain the solution now. For convenience sake, let's name the balls 1 to 8. First, we weigh 1, 2, 3 on the left and 4, 5, 6 on the right. This is the first measurement. There are 3 scenarios which can arise from this. Let's consider the scenario 1. If the left side is heavier, then we know that one of 1, 2 or 3 is the heavier ball. Now in the second measurement, weigh 1 on the left and 2 on the right. We will know if 1 or 2 is heavier. If they balance out, then 3 is the heavier one. Thus, heavier ball is identified by exactly 2 measurements in this scenario. Let's consider the scenario 2. If the right side is heavier, then we know that either 4, 5 or 6 is the heavier ball. Now in the second measurement, weigh 4 on the left and 5 on the right. By doing this, we will know if 4 or 5 is heavier. If they balance out, then 6 is the heavier one. Thus, heavier ball is identified by exactly 2 measurements in the scenario 2. Let's consider the final scenario, that is scenario 3. If 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 balance out, then we know either 7 or 8 is the heavier one. Weigh both of them to find out which one is heavier. Again here, heavier ball is identified by exactly 2 measurements. Let me summarize. The first step is determining which set of 3 balls contains the heavier one. So choose balls 1, 2, 3 and balls 4, 5, 6 and weigh them. If one set is heavier, save those 3 balls. Pick 2 balls and place for measurement. By doing this, we will know which one is heavier. If they balance out, then other is the heavier one. If neither side is heavier in the first step, proceed with balls 7 and 8. In the final weighing, weigh both of them to find out which one is heavier. By following these simple steps, we can find which ball is heavier in just 2 measurements. A team of 3 people decide on a strategy for playing the following game. Each player walks into a room. On the way in, a fair coin is tossed for each player, deciding that player's hat color either red or blue. Each player can see the hat colors of the other 2 players but cannot see his own hat color. After inspecting each other's hat colors, each player decides on a response which are one of the following. I have a red hat, or I have a blue hat, or I pass. The players' responses are recorded, but the responses are not shared until every player has recorded his response. The team wins if at least one player responds with a color and every color response correctly describes the hat color of the player making the response. In other words, the team loses if either everyone responds with I pass or someone responds with a color that is different from his hat color. What strategy should one use to maximize the team's expected chance of winning? Let me repeat the puzzle. A team of 3 people decide on a strategy for playing the following game. Each player walks into a room. On the way in, a fair coin is tossed for each player, deciding the player's hat color either red or blue. Each player can see the hat colors of the other 2 players but cannot see his own hat color. After inspecting each other's hat colors, each player decides on a response which are one of the following. I have a red hat, or I have a blue hat, or I pass. The players' responses are recorded, but the responses are not shared until every player has recorded his response. The team wins if at least one player responds with a color and every color responds correctly describes the hat color of the player making the response. In other words, the team loses if either everyone responds with I pass or someone responds with a color that is different from his hat color. What strategy should one use to maximize the team's expected chance of winning? For example, one possible strategy is to single out one of the 3 players. This player will respond, I have a red hat, and the others will respond, I pass. The expected chance of winning with this strategy is 50%. Can you do better? A better solution exists for 75% chances of winning. Let me explain the solution in detail. Let the players be player A, player B, and player C. With 3 players and 2 hat colors, there are a total of 8 likely outcomes. Here are the outcomes. One special feature about the distribution is that most outcomes, that is 6 of them, include at least one hat of both colors. Here are the 6 outcomes which have at least one hat of both colors. As we can see here, in these 6 combinations, 3 combinations include 2 red color hats and other 3 combinations include 2 blue color hats. Only 2 extreme outcomes don't have at least one hat of both colors. Remaining are the ones with all red hats or all blue hats. We can analyze further. Among outcomes with both hat colors, there logically has to be 2 hats of one color. We call it as the majority color, and 1 hat of another color. We call it as the minority color. Here is the representation of majority and minority colors. Here in the outcomes, in first, second and fourth combinations, red is majority color and blue is minority color. But in third, fifth and sixth combinations, blue is majority color and red is minority color. Now, by looking at the other hats, player can identify whether they are wearing a majority color or a minority color. For instance, if a player sees both a red and blue hat, then the player must be wearing the majority color, which could be red or blue. If a player sees two blue or two red hats, then the player must be wearing the minority color, which will be the opposite color of what the player sees. Here is what players can reason among the 6 choices. If the player is wearing minority color, then he knows that the color, which will be the opposite a color of what the player sees. For example, if a player sees two blue or two red hats, then the player must be wearing the minority color, which will be the opposite color of what the player sees. Here in the first combination, if the player C is guessing the hat, now the player sees two red hats, then the player must be wearing the minority color, which will be the opposite color of what the player sees. Here in this case, it is blue color. In the second combination, if the player B is guessing the hat, now the player sees two red hats, then the player must be wearing the minority color, which will be the opposite color of what the player sees. Here in this case, it is blue color. Similarly, in the third combination, if the player A is guessing the hat, now the player sees two blue hats, then the player must be wearing the minority color, which will be the opposite color of what the player sees. Here in this case, it is red color. So now the idea is to get the player with the minority hat color to guess and force the other people to pass. So here is the strategy. If you see both a red and a blue hat, then pass. If you see two red hats, then guess blue. If you see two blue hats, then guess red. This strategy wins in all 6 cases with at least one hat of each color. It only loses in the 2 cases of all red or all blue, in which all players guess incorrectly. Here is how players would guess. Here in the first combination, player A sees two red hats. Then the player thinks he will be wearing the minority color, which will be the opposite color of what the player sees. Here in this case, it is blue color. Since he is wearing a red color hat, team will lose. Same happens with player B and player C. Similarly, in the fifth combination where all players wearing blue hats, here also team loses. Here in the combination, player A sees two blue hats. Then the player thinks he will be wearing the minority color, which will be the opposite color of what the player sees. Here in this case, it is red color. Since he is wearing blue color hat, team will lose. Same happens with player B and player C. So now let's consider the second combination. Here player A see one red and one blue hat, hence player replies as I pass. Player B again see one red and one blue hat, hence player replies as I pass. Player C see two red hats, then the player thinks he will be wearing the minority color, which will be the opposite color of what the player sees. Here in this case, it is blue color and it will matches and team wins. Now let's consider the third combination. In the third combination, player A sees one red and one blue hat, hence player replies as I pass. Player B see two red hats, then the player thinks he will be wearing the minority color, which will be the opposite color of what the player sees. Here in this case, it is blue color and it will matches and team wins. Finally, player C see one red and one blue hat, hence player replies as I pass. The same logic is applied for other 4 combinations and team wins in all these combinations. So the group wins in 6 of 8 possible outcomes, a whopping 75% chance. So if you follow this strategy, there is a 75% chances of winning the game. This is a little complex puzzle, requires solid strategy in order to solve this problem. Having an infinite supply of water and 2 containers, one for 3 liters and one for 5 liters, how would you measure 4 liters? You have to follow these steps to solve this puzzle. In the first step, fill 3 liters bucket completely. In the second step, pour that water into 5 liters bucket. In the step 3, now 5 liters bucket filled with 3 liters of water where there is space for 2 more liters. Now in the step 4, now again fill 3 liters bucket and pour it into 5 liters bucket. If bucket was full, that means remaining water in 3 liters bucket is 1 liter. In the step 5, pour that 5 liters of water down and fill it with 1 liter of water which was remained in the 3 liters bucket. In the next step, again fill 3 liters bucket and pour into 5 liters bucket. Now the result will be 4 liters of water in 5 liters bucket. This is how we can achieve the solution to this particular puzzle, but there is an easy solution with less steps. Let me explain the way to solve these bucket questions. You can get 4 liters by pouring 1 liter out of the 5 liter bucket. If you figure out a way to do that, you have it solved. You need a 1 liter space to pour the 1 liter into. You would have to leave 2 liters in the 3 liter bucket. So if you figure out a way to do that, you have the problem solved. To do that, you need to get 2 liters into the 5 liter bucket. So you can then put the 2 into the 3 liter bucket. Here how we can achieve this. Fill the 5 liter bucket and pour 3 of it into the 3 liter bucket, then empty the 3 liter bucket. This will leave you with 2 liters in the 5 liter bucket. Dump the 2 liters into the 3 liter bucket. Fill up the 5 liter bucket and pour 1 into the space in the 3 liter bucket. So now you have 4 left in the 5 liter bucket. The scenario comprises of a wobbly bridge and 4 people. It is the night time and the people have only 1 torch. Without torch, one may risk his life in crossing the bridge. Also, we have a condition. The bridge is not quite strong and can hold only 2 persons together at once. The 4 people take different time to cross the bridge. The timings are 1 minute, 2 minutes, 7 minutes and 10 minutes. Since the torch is a necessity and the bridge can't hold more than 2 persons at a time, 2 persons must travel at a time, out of which one must return with the torch so they don't risk their life crossing in the dark. What is the shortest time that will be required for all of them to cross the bridge? Let me simplify the puzzle. 4 people need to cross a bridge at night. Unfortunately, they have only 1 torch and the bridge is too dangerous to cross without one. The bridge is only strong enough to support 2 people at a time. Not all people take the same time to cross the bridge. Times for each person is 1 minute, 2 minutes, 7 minutes and 10 minutes. For example, if the 2 people with the speed 7 and 10 minutes were to cross together, it would take 10 minutes, leaving 17 minutes for one of them to return and get the rest moving. Can you find what is the shortest time needed for all 4 of them to cross the bridge? Were you thinking of using the fastest person who takes 1 minute to travel to and fro till everyone has reached the other end? Yes, that can be done, but it will take 10 plus 1 plus 7 plus 1 plus 2 equals 21 minutes in total. If you pay attention towards finding a way to merge the one taking 7 minutes and the one taking 10 minutes, we will have to acknowledge the fact that one of them will also have to return back, which will take much more time than 21 minutes. What if we use the person taking 2 minutes to escort the one taking 1 minute across? Let's come to the conclusion. So in first step, 1 and 2 crosses the bridge and 2 returns with the torch. Here time taken is 2 plus 2 equals 4. In the second step, 7 and 10 crosses the bridge and one who was already in the other side come back. Here time taken is 10 plus 1 equals 11. In the final step, 192 crosses the bridge. Here, time taken is 2 minutes. In such a manner, the total time taken will be 2 plus 2 plus 10 plus 1 plus 2 equals 17 minutes. Alternatively, the same time can be achieved like this. 1 and 2 go first, then 1 comes back, then 7 and 10 goes and 2 comes back, then 1 and 2 go again. It makes a total of 17 minutes. You are a king of an empire. You have a servant working in your palace. He works all the 7 days and you only pay him in the form of gold bar. You must pay the worker for his work every day at the end of the day. If you are only able to make 2 breaks in the gold bar, how will you pay the servant if the servant works for the equal time every day and thus equal amount must be paid at the end of the day? If you are thinking of how to cut in such a way that you are able to make 7 equal pieces, you are thinking in the wrong direction. You should give more stress on how to make the transactions with the worker. So the trick is not to try and how to cut in such a way to make 7 equal pieces, but rather to make transactions with the worker. Make 2 cuts on the gold bar such that you have the following sizes of bars. Bar A should be 1/7 of the bar, bar B should be 2/7 of the bar, bar C should be 4/7 of the bar. Let's check whether it is going to work. When the day 1 ends, give bar A to the worker. Here you remain with bar B and bar C. Worker possesses bar A. When the day 2 ends, give bar B to the worker and take the bar A back. Here you remain with bar A and bar C. Worker possesses bar B. When the day 3 ends, give bar A to the worker. You remain with bar C. Worker possesses bar A and bar B. When the day 4 ends, give bar C to the worker and take back bar A and bar B. Here you remain with bar A and bar B. Worker possesses bar C. When the day 5 ends, give bar A to the worker. You remain with bar B. Worker possesses bar A and bar C. When the day 6 ends, give bar B to the worker and take back bar A. Here you remain with bar A. Worker possesses bar B and bar C. When the day 7 ends, give bar A to the worker. Here you remain with no bar. Worker possesses bar A, bar B and bar C. Thus by the end of 7 days, you have taken care of everything. There is an equilateral triangle and 3 bugs are sitting on the 3 corners of the triangle. Each of the bugs picks up a random direction and starts walking along the edge of the equilateral triangle. What is the probability that none of the bugs crash into each other? Here in this puzzle, every bug has 2 choices. Pick either of 2 edges, go through the corner on which bug is initially sitting. If you have come up with the fact that the bugs can avoid the collision only when they decide to move in the same direction, be it clockwise or anti-clockwise, you have already solved off of it. In any other way, the bugs will definitely run into each other. Now the bugs can move either clockwise or anti-clockwise. The probability of choosing a specific direction is then 1/2. We will utilize the simple equation of probability to find out our answer. The probability of no collision equals probability of the bugs move in clockwise direction plus probability of the bugs move in anti-clockwise direction. Probability of the bugs move in clockwise direction is 0.5 times 0.5 times 0.5. This is because there are 3 bugs and each bug have 2 options, either moving in clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. Similarly, the probability of the Berg's move in anti-clockwise direction is 0.5 times 0.5 times 0.5. This is because there are 3 Bergs and each Berg have 2 options, either moving in clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. Hence, probability of no collision equals 0.5 times 0.5 times 0.5 plus 0.5 times 0.5 times 0.5, which is equal to 0.25. Thus, the probability that the Bergs won't collide into each other is 0.25 or 1 over 4 or 1/4. A certain town comprises of 100 married couples. Everyone in the town lives by following rule. If a husband cheats on his wife, the husband is executed as soon as his wife finds out about him. All the women in the town only gossip about the husbands of other women. No woman ever tells another woman if her husband is cheating on her. So every woman in the town knows about all the cheating husbands in the town except her own. Husbands always remain silent. One day, the mayor of the town announces to the whole town that there is at least one cheating husband in the town. In this situation, what do you think happens? So I will simplify the puzzle. A certain town has 100 married couples, husband and wife only. Everyone in the town lives by the following rule. If a husband cheats on his wife, the husband is executed, that is killed, as soon as his wife finds out about him. Husband may enjoy only as long as his wife does not get to know about it. All the women in the town only gossip about the husbands of other women, but no woman ever tells another woman if her husband is cheating on her. So every woman in the town knows about the cheating husband in the town except her own. And husbands always remain silent. So one day, the mayor of the town announces to the whole town that there is at least one cheating husband in the town. So in this situation, what do you think happens? Let's check the solution now. Let's solve this puzzle methodically. Say there was only one cheating husband in the town. So this is the first condition that I am considering. That is, there was only one cheating husband in the town. So in this situation, there will be 99 women who know exactly who the cheater is. The one remaining woman who is being cheated on would have assumed there is no cheaters. But now that the mayor has confirmed that there is at least one cheater, and she realizes that her own husband must be cheating on her. So her husband gets executed on the day of the announcement. So this is what happens if there is only one cheating husband in the town. But what mayor actually announced is there is at least one cheating husband in the town. So now let's assume there are two cheaters in the town. So in this condition, there will be 98 women in the town who knows who the two cheaters are. The two wives who are being cheated on would think that there is only one cheater in the town. Since neither of these two women know that their husbands are cheaters, they both do not report their husbands in on the day of announcement. The next day, when the two women see that no husband was executed, they realize that there could only be one explanation: both their husbands are cheaters. Thus, on the second day, two husbands are executed. Through induction, it can be proved that when this logic is applied to n cheating husbands, they all die on the nth day after the mayor's announcement. So let's simplify the solution of this puzzle. So let's start methodically and consider different cases. So consider the case 1. If there is only one cheating husband. In this case, 99 women knows who is cheating. Only one woman, wife of the cheater, does not know of anyone cheating. Wife of the cheater must be thinking that none of the husbands cheat. After announcement, she will realize that her own husband is cheating, because if anyone else is cheating, then she must have been aware of it. So the cheating husband will die on the first day. So consider the case 2. If there are 2 cheating husbands, the wives of both the cheating husbands think that there is only one cheating husband, that is the other one, and hence will expect the other husband to die on the first day. When no one dies on the first day, then on the second day, both of them will realize that their husband is also cheating along with the other one. Hence, both the cheating husbands die on the second day. Think about like if there are n cheating husbands. Going by this logic, they all die on the nth day after the mayor's announcement.